The National Assembly today voted not to approve an opposition-led bill for a special investigation into the death of a young Marine last year, one of the key contentious issues between rival parties. This follows a presidential veto of the bill last week. For more, I'm joined by our National Assembly correspondent, Lee Shi-hoo. Shi-hoo, it was the 21st Assembly's final plenary session of the term. Do explain the results in detail.
Right, so the National Assembly today turned down the special probe into the death of a young Marine, and the bill has been disposed now. If we look at the specific count of the anonymous vote, of the total 294 votes cast, 179 voted for the bill, and 111 voted against. 4 lawmakers abstained in the process. For a bill already vetoed by the president to pass, it requires an approval from 2/3 or more of the lawmakers present, in addition to a majority attendance. Now, it would have taken 17 additional votes for the bill to pass today. Prior to voting, at least 5 ruling party members had announced their will to agree to the opposition's stance, and there were expectations that more PPP lawmakers might vote against their party. Considering how the poll is anonymous, but the results actually suggest that there may have been some opposition members who didn't actually back the bill.
And what did the opposition-pushed bill entail?
Right, so the bill supported a special investigation into the death of a young Marine, as I said earlier, in a rescue operation during last year's floods. And this would look into whether the government interfered with the initial military investigation. Now, earlier this month, the parliament approved the bill while most of the ruling People Power Party lawmakers walked out in protest. Then last week, the president vetoed the bill, prompting the opposition to push for another poll. The government said the bill, quote, destroys the constitutional tradition that both the ruling and opposition parties have upheld for decades. Now, the PPP agreed to this, saying that the bill is a political move aimed at targeting the president instead of investigating whether there really was professional negligence. And they reiterated this stance earlier today. Take a listen.
This special prosecution bill, which is pushed by the Democratic Party alone to produce results that suit its taste, is a tyranny of the majority party to undermine the spirit of separation of powers and paralyze fair judicial action for political gain.
On the other hand, the DP has kept its stance that it must, quote, seek the truth and that this is the main priority and focus of the special probe. But the DP has also claimed that the presidential office and the defense ministry interfered with the original probe to reduce accusations of government faults. Listen in.
We can investigate the cover-up allegations and other matters during the following probe process, but I reiterate that the #1 subject of the investigation is the Marine's death itself. So all the issues they have raised regarding this bill are either untrue or erroneous.
And other parties, the New Reform and the Rebuilding Korea Party, have also voiced their support for the bill. Now, after the results were announced, the DP vowed to push for the bill once again as soon as the new assembly launches.
And Shi-hoo, were there some other critical issues discussed today?
Right, so another item on today's agenda, a critical one, was that the revision to the Special Act to support victims of rental scams that have swept across South Korea in recent years. The opposition has pushed to strengthen support for the victims of real estate fraud related to South Korea's unique rental system called jeonse. The revision calls for public institutions to provide priority relief for victims prior to collection of money through real estate sell-offs. Now, the government and the ruling party have opposed the revision, citing risk to the government's financial viability, among other reasons. But the opposition today passed the bill with 170 approvals amid a walkout by the PPP.
And what do we expect to see happening at the 22nd Assembly set to launch this week?
Right, so the 22nd National Assembly is retaining its small ruling and large opposition status, which will likely make us see a repeat of what we've seen in the current assembly, where opposition-led bills are approved, then later vetoed by the president. The rival parties are expected to continue discussions on national pension reform, and as for the special probe into the Marine's death, the DP has said it will bring up again. We will have to wait and see whether the recent additional deaths in the military this month will instigate any changes in sentiment among new lawmakers.
All right, we will have to wait and see. Thanks for the report today.
Thank you.